Hi, welcome friend. I'm Kathy and I'm cooking in the camper today. Today we're going to make my mother-in-law's chicken salad with a few twists to it. She would usually boil her chicken breast. I like to roast mine in the oven. It gives it a deep, richer flavor. So let's get started. First we're going to go ahead and we're going to get some foil to put on our pan. We're just going to line that pan, and that's just to make for easier cleanup. Let me spray the bottom here for just a minute. Just going to give a light spray just to make sure they don't stick to the foil. What I like to do first is I like to really kind of season the bottom of the chicken breast. And the easiest way to do that is I season the bottom of the pan. And I'm just going to use the same seasonings that I use for the top. A little salt, pepper, a little garlic powder. There's really no measurements to this. It's all about your taste and how much you want to use. It's really measuring with your heart. So we're going to put a little onion powder down now. And then we're just going to lay our chicken breast just right here. We've got about a pound of chicken breast. I did get the thin cut, so it will cook a little quicker. Oop, I forgot to light my oven. And we're going to turn the oven to 375. Let that preheat. And we're just going to lay our chicken breast on here. And now we can just get rid of that. Put that over here and that in the sink. And then now we're just going to go ahead and season the top of the chicken breast. A little salt, a little pepper. Once again, some garlic powder. And some onion powder. I don't use quite as much of that as I do of the garlic powder. One thing I like to do is to have all of my seasonings in one little container and keep it up in my cabinet. It makes it a lot easier for me just to kind of grab it out and go with it whenever I'm cooking over here, because this is where I do most of my prep work. Is all done on this beautiful island. It is what sold, well, one of the things that sold me on this rig. So I do really enjoy having this big counter space that doesn't have sink in it and everything like a lot of the campers do now. So we're going to go ahead, and the oven is preheated. Just double check. And we're just going to go ahead and stick our chicken breast in the oven. And that's going to roast probably about 12 to 15 minutes. So while the chicken is roasting in the oven, we're going to go ahead and prep some of the ingredients that's going to go into the chicken salad. Now, my mother-in-law always used pecans in her chicken salad. I like to use walnuts, and I like to toast them first. There again, it richens that flavor with the toasting. So I'm just going to put my burner on here on just a light little medium heat. And I'm just going to put my walnuts right down inside there. And we're just going to let those start to toast up, and we're going to cut our celery. Now I've got 2 stalks here. I may or may not need all of that. It just really kind of depends on the chicken and how much it shrinks whenever you cook it. So we're just going to give this just a quick little slice lengthwise down through here, because we don't want the pieces to be really big. And then we're just going to stack them up, and we're just going to make a really nice little fine dice with it. That's what we're looking for right there. Just a nice little dice. And we'll go ahead and have that ready. Now you don't want to forget about your nuts whenever they are toasting back there. You want to make sure that you're sniffing the air a little bit. It's one of the ways to know when you're getting close to the nuts being roasted but not burnt. So we're just going to come back here. We're going to give them just a quick little toss in the pan and stick them right back in. By toasting the walnuts, we're just kind of releasing those oils, which makes them more flavorful more fragrant. So our walnuts are all toasted up. I can already smell them. They just smell nice and roasty and toasty in there, and they're not burnt at this point. So we want to go ahead and switch our heat off, and then we're just going to kind of scoot our celery to the side. I like to kind of keep everything on one cutting board if I can, less dishes. And then we're just going to take these nice warm walnuts, and we're just going to pour them right out here onto the cutting board. And we're going to do a nice little chop on that too. You want to chop your walnuts so it is just a nice little fine dice as well. You don't want to go too small with it because you do want to make sure that you got that texture in there. The celery and the walnuts, they do add flavor to the dish itself, but that texture, that's what eating and is all about, is smells and textures and the taste of everything. So you've got the creaminess of the mayonnaise that's going to go in it. You've got the soft chew of the chicken breast that's in there. And then you've got the crunch of the celery with the pop of freshness, and then the toasted walnuts with the nice crunch there as well. It just all comes together to make a wonderful chicken salad. All right, so that's our timer for the chicken. So we're going to check its temperature. We want to make sure that we are cooking it all the way through, and it should read 165 degrees in the thickest part of that chicken breast. So we're just going to give that a stab, and we are good to go. We're just going to go ahead and take these out, flip that oven right off. Look at those chicken breasts. Looks absolutely delicious. All right, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just move it over into our container that we're going to store our chicken breast in, just so that they can cool down just a little bit so that we can handle them, and to kind of let those juices just redistribute there. Sorry, that's my thermometer talking to me. So the chicken breast has been sitting for about 5 minutes now, so I think it might be okay to use. So I'm going to go ahead and just into my bowl that I'm going to mix this up in. I'm going to put in the walnuts that we chopped up, and I think we're going to be good to use all of that celery that we did. So now we're just going to flip this over and use the back side of the cutting board so that it's got the ridge around it. That's so that it will catch any juices that would come out of the chicken as we're cutting it up. And then we're just going to give it quick slices. Now, my mother-in-law used to have everybody over on Sundays for Sunday lunch, and she would frequently make this chicken salad. At Christmas time, she would have everybody over for Christmas Eve. That was her holiday, and so she always hosted on Christmas Eve. And so when she got a little older, she started doing chicken salad for the Christmas holiday, because it was always a big fan favorite of everybody. So it's just really nice memories, and I like to make her chicken salad. It makes Frank happy to get his mom's chicken salad as well. And it is the best chicken salad that I've ever had that somebody has made, although I did make tweaks to it. And we just want to cut this up into just small pieces. So we're talking pieces that are maybe 1/4 to a 1/2 inch in size there. And then we're going to actually shred it just a little bit. Hers always was shredded up a lot. I like to keep a little bit of chunks in ours. So I will get it all chopped up, and then what I'll do is I'll run my hands through it and kind of squeeze on it and get it so that part of it is shredded, because that kind of helps with the consistency of the chicken salad. But then we like to have a little bit of that chunkiness of the chicken as well, so that you can actually bite into it. Now, my mother-in-law would serve this up on hamburger buns or slider rolls. I do also like serving it up on a croissant, or just on top of a salad. So we've got all of our chicken in there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and come in here, and we're just going to squeeze that chicken, like I mentioned earlier. And what it does is it just kind of breaks that chicken down just a little bit. You're really not looking to take it into a fine shred or anything. You just start breaking up some of the larger chunks in there. It just makes for a nicer consistency, I think, on the chicken salad. All right, and that's really about it. You can see that it just really kind of breaks it just a little bit. We don't want it into a fine shred. Wash my hands. Okay, so now that we've got it all in there, now we're going to add some mayonnaise in there. I know that people love to have measurements. It's really a measure with your heart. She couldn't tell me how much she uses either. I do know that she always used Hellmann's to make hers with, so I have kind of stuck with doing that. So I'm going to put in, I would say for what I'm doing here, maybe a good half cup maybe now, just to kind of start. We'll see how that goes. We're going to add some pepper. I like to put a good amount of pepper in mine, and just a little bit of salt. We did season that chicken up with some salt in there, and celery tends to add almost like a little saltiness to it, in my opinion. So we're going to give this a quick stir, if I have a spoon. Let's see, we're just going to grab that one. We're going to mix. Oh, I almost forgot the secret ingredient. She always added just a tiny bit of sugar. Now, she told me that it's not for adding sweetness, that it is to cut the greasiness of the mayonnaise. So we're just going to give that a little stir up right there on top, just to kind of get those all together. Then we're going to start folding in all of our other ingredients. And we're just going to make sure we get it all in here well. Oh, we might have done about right on that mayonnaise there. And as I'm coming down, I am kind of coming in and squishing a little bit more. If you want your chicken a little finer than that, then you could even use a fork to do this with. And that way you can really get in there and chop down on it. Let's give this a taste just to see if we need to do anything different with seasonings or if we need to add more mayonnaise. My official taste testers, my son and my husband, are not here right now, so it's up to me. It's a hard job to have. So good. I really don't think it needs anything else. That is perfect. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to put it into our container that we're going to use. All right, so now we're just going to put it into our container that we're going to store it in. I like to mix my chicken salad in a big bowl so that I don't make a big mess, because I tend to be a messy cook sometimes. Well, all the time pretty much. So what I wanted to do there is just get it all mixed up in the nice big bowl, and then just put it into my glass container that I'll put into the fridge. Now, whenever I do the video on kitchen organization or kitchen tips and tricks, this is one of my favorite finds that I found on Amazon. It is silicone around the outside of the glass container, and then it also has snap-on lids that you put on, and it snaps right down. So if you have soup or something, it won't leak out or anything like that in your fridge as you're going down the road. This makes for a great travel day meal. You can make it the night before, stick it in the refrigerator. When you get to your camp and get set up, you've already got lunch or dinner made. So I hope you enjoy this as much as we have over the years, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.